Hey guys, this is HD. Welcome back. It's time for game number 2 between EG Incontrol and Dimaga. This is in the HD World Tournament round of 8. And last game, Incontrol actually losing to Dimaga in a pretty solid fashion. Usually you'll say someone wins in a solid fashion, but I would say that time Incontrol really lost in a solid fashion because he just got completely surrounded by the Zerg army. The swarm was all over the map. I mean, I think Dimaga at one point had 8 bases, and this is counting the expired bases as well, obviously. But he had around 8 bases compared to Incontrol's 3, and it was kind of the Zerg just restricting the Protoss player. It was almost like he was setting up an embargo around, it was like trade sanctions around North Korea, and not to say Incontrol is North Korea or anything like that, but it kind of seemed like a very, very one-sided battle. And obviously once the economy of Incontrol ran out, once Incontrol realized, you know, I gotta push out, I have to grab a 4th expansion. Protoss players oftentimes get really complacent on 3 bases, but once he realized I need to get this 4th, he finally moved out, and unfortunately for him it was just far too late by that point in the game. So here we are in game number 2, and I also want to let you guys know, obviously, that the IPL tournament is going on at the same time. I think I made that announcement in the last game, but I will be uploading both tournament games at the same time, and only the first game of each series will be going up for the IPL. So just to let you guys know, I want to reiterate so nobody gets confused or anything like that, but the HD World Tournament is still going strong. Games should be complete relatively soon, and yeah, we'll see what happens this game. Remember, game 2, Incontrol currently down one game in this series, and it is a best of 3. It looks like he chose to play on Shattered Temple, which it's a pretty balanced map, I think, for Protoss versus Zerg. We already have Incontrol kind of chilling with his probe here at the natural. It looks like he is gearing up to block that natural expansion, but you know, with Dimaga going for this early gas and this early pool, I feel like we're not going to be seeing any early hatchery, not until at least 21 supply. And obviously Dimaga will have about 4 Zerglings out, and he should be able to deal with this probe and any kind of pylon at the natural blocking his hatchery pretty easily. So in fact, both players here are going for a pretty safe build. Incontrol is not opening up with the Forge first at his ramp down below. Unlike last game Incontrol went for the Forge first, and the nice thing about that is you can cannon in your opponent, but this time around Incontrol is actually going Gate, Cybercore, and he does have 2 gases, so it's very well possible he could be going for a 3-gate Expo. Looks like we already have the pylon going down here to block the ramp, but as I said before, with 4 Zerglings, Dimaga laughs at that pylon and takes it out really easily, and he's going to get his hatchery up. We already have a probe moving out across the map. This probe may be throwing up some pylons around the map. Good Protoss players will always get pylons from the west side and the east side of the map, or the north and the south, depending on their spawn. It helps them control the map better. It allows them to warp in units whenever they need, and it allows them to scout any kind of crazy stuff that might be coming for them. It's not too much in this matchup because a lot of Zerg players won't use Overlord drop, but it is a nice thing to have nonetheless. Looks like Dimaga is still keeping his drone alive here, which is really, really nice. All too often, Protoss players, they want to get rid of this drone after their Cybercore is up because they want to start to throw down their tech buildings. But Dimaga has kept this drone alive so well that he's really completely aware of the build that Incontrol is doing. Look, there's 2 more gateways going up. So he knows exactly what's happening here. Incontrol has all this gas. He's already seen the first sentry that's come out of the gateway. So everything here indicates to Incontrol that indicates to Dimaga that Incontrol is going for the 3-gate expansion. And I would expect Dimaga, based on this scouting intel, he's just going to drone up, man. If we pull up that production tab, yeah, 3 drones on the way. What a Zerg player wants to do in this situation is just over drone. You know your opponent is going for the 3-gate Expo. He's most likely not going to attack anytime soon. And I wouldn't even be surprised to see Dimaga grab a quick 3rd somewhere on the map. Now, whoa, what is this? Incontrol is actually throwing up a proxy pylon here. Very interesting. And he has a ton of sentries right now. it really seems like Incontrol is going to go for the 3-gate expansion. Whoa, adding on a 4th gateway here before the Nexus. Could this be some kind of a feign fast expand? He has killed off the scouting Zergling at the front door. Right now, Dimaga wisely has an Overlord back here, but he needs to scoot it in position to see if the Nexus does indeed go down. We do have 350 minerals stockpiled, so I think Incontrol is going to go for his Nexus. Wow, here comes a Zergling. Incontrol, is he going to throw the Nexus down? No, he is not. He is continuing to warp in units. Oh man, this could be a delayed 4-gate. And Dimaga here has not moved his Overlord in, so he does not expect... He really needs to move this Overlord in right now because he doesn't know if the Nexus is going down. He is throwing up 2 safety spine crawlers just in case, but he has no attacking units whatsoever, just 4 Zerglings. And here comes the mass move out of sentries and units continuing to warp in from this proximity pylon. Finally, the Zergling coming in here, and it still did not bother to scout the Nexus, and wow. Dimaga here could be in a lot of trouble. The force field has gone down on the ramp. More spine crawlers desperately going up in the background of the hatchery, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Really well placed force fields here, and with the sentries and the stalkers and the zealots, I don't know if the spine crawlers are going to be enough to hold this off. Everything is going down right now. Dimaga desperately making 20 Zerglings, excuse me, out of all of his hatcheries, but you know, you got to remember that half of those Zerglings are going to be stuck back here. And I think this may be good game. These 2 spine crawlers, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Ooh, Incontrol here, yeah, really risky there. Almost not force fitting the ramp, but leaves a little gap here for Zerglings to come through. Is it going to be enough for Dimaga to flood down the ramp and protect his natural expansion? I don't think so. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be over. With that last spine crawler falling and more zealots warping in, I just don't see this working out for Dimaga, and Dimaga, GG's to Incontrol. Really well played right there by our Protoss, by our big Protoss player, showing that, in fact, North Korea can win, and he does not care about trade sanctions or embargoes. He will push out, and he will take the next battle. And here we are. We're going to be moving on to game number 3 between Dimaga and QXC. Excuse me, Dimaga and Incontrol. Why am I thinking he's QXC? Dimaga and Incontrol, it's going to move on to game 3. It's going to be a final resolution. Whoever wins will move on to the semifinals. And whoever loses is knocked out of the HD World Tournament. So stay tuned, guys. Not much to talk about that game, except Incontrol's really well played. Feign 3-gate expand into 4-gate attack. So nice play. GG. Moving on to game number 3.